Good evening, everyone. The time here is 7:51 in the evening, which is Saturday, September 26. I would like to greet everyone a pleasant good evening. Today is Saturday, September 26. The time here is 7:51 in the evening. Okay. May I greet everybody first? Good morning to you, whenever you are. Bonjour and buenas tardes, compañeros in Europe or in Spain or Italy. In the Philippines, good evening. Magandang gabi sa inyong lahat. In Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, mayong gabi sa inyong tanan. In Japanese, Ohayo gozaimashita, irashaimase anata, and good day here in Australia. The reason why I'm here, I think you missed Wilhelmina for a few days. I was really very busy interviewing potential buyers who inquire on how to secure gold in Africa. Now, may I give the answer to all the inquiries that I have few days and today? Now, I would like to explain one by one. I have an inquiry from Dubai. He is buying gold bullion. And just a moment. Okay, someone is sending me a message. And someone is sending me a message that they are buying gold bullion, metric tons, 400 metric tons. This solicitation LOI is cut and paste. Now, whoever sent me this fake LOI, 400 metric tons, I think you are just kidding to yourself. Gold bullion stays at the Central Bank of London, Central Bank of Dubai, Central Bank of Australia, Central Bank of Hong Kong, or Central Bank of China. Whatever. We are not selling here gold bullion. We are selling unrefined. Gold bullion is refined. Without unrefined gold, there would be no gold bullion. So those chain of broker who send me cut and paste, don't waste your time. That LOI is cut and paste from broker to broker and float around and float around. You're gonna burn yourself because no one will believe you. Those who sell gold bullion, the broker must have a license to sell gold bullion. That he is really professional selling gold bullion that have hallmark, and you deal directly to the bank. Don't deal with us because we are selling physical gold which is unrefined. You are buying refined. Okay, so I'm sorry I wouldn't be able to help you. And another inquiry that they wanted to buy gold brings to brings. That's a very good question. We will hand over the gold to brings when the buyer pay the gold. Now, before we're gonna do transaction to any buyer, you as a buyer has to send a formal letter of intent to purchase coming from you because we don't know who you are. So Wilhelmina would validate you, and Wilhelmina will review your letter of intent to purchase. Wilhelmina would not consider your LOI cut and paste. I wouldn't accept it. I want to see on how serious is the buyer. Now, you're scared to deal with African because there are so many issues that the gold didn't arrive and you have been cheated or you have been duped because you paid the gold and the gold didn't arrive. Now, may I give you the answer to that question to my interview offline? The reason why the gold didn't arrive to your destination, you did not pay the gold. you only pay taxes. Mhm. Why are you going to pay taxes that you have not seen the gold? And why are you going to send money to a particular seller that offer you 37, 35, or $40,000 or 45, and you have not seen the products, and you were being asked to send money to pay taxes? Of course, the gold will not arrive because you have not paid the gold. You have not received the commercial invoice. You have not received the attestation. You have not received the asset report. You have not received the ownership. You have not received custom clearance. You have not received airway, and you only send money to pay taxes. What happened? The gold didn't arrive. So whose fault is that? You do. Because you believe that the seller offer you a cheap price and thinking he will send the gold to your destination. It wouldn't work at all. No. Without export documentation on your name, the gold will not come to you. I'm telling you. Now this buyer, I'm not going to mention his name, he lost his money. He come to me, what do you think, madam? When I look at the conversation to this buyer and the seller is from Ghana, and the seller is very professional making stories. The gold was stolen in the beginning. He said he stole the gold from the chief. Then he ran away and brought the gold to Togo. Ghana to Togo is only 2 hours drive because it's boundary. And then the buyer sent the money of 17,450, thinking that the gold 4 kilos will deliver to Dubai. Didn't. So it took 4 months to this particular buyer. I'm not going to mention his name so that he would not embarrass. I am explaining to you so that any of you offered cheap price, think about it. Now this bad experience of this particular buyer would give you a knowledge, would give you to call this, will give you in advance that this price is not really the price. Now, for 4 months, this buyer was waiting that the gold would ship it to Dubai. So the conversation that I reviewed on the chat with the buyer and the seller, the gold is in Togo because he stole the gold because the chief didn't agree that the gold has to be sent to Dubai 4 kilos only. And the buyer sent the money thinking that the buyer will get the 4 kilos. And when the gold arrived in Dubai, that's the time the buyer pay. Fault number one. Fault number two, the buyer and the seller are deceiving each other. The seller deceived the buyer. You pay taxes, we will send the gold to you. So what happened? The gold didn't arrive. And then the seller make stories that the gold was in Senegal. And then the seller make stories that the gold is in Ivory Coast. Now, why the gold is on Ivory Coast? What for? So I told this buyer, why the seller was telling you that the gold is in Ivory Coast, that the gold coming from Ghana, then Togo, then travel to Ivory Coast. That is weird. So I told this buyer, this seller is really sophisticated. His name is Nana Minsa from Ghana. So Nana Minsa explained to the buyer that they will send the gold, okay? And when I review the chart, I feel sorry to this buyer. He lost his money. He lost his money. So I told this buyer, did you not read the conversation? Did you not analyze the conversation? This seller is sophisticated liar. Sophisticated liar. That is the reason why you were being scammed. The meaning of scam means lie, deceive, manipulate. This Nana Minsa is a very professional, sophisticated liar. He is a sophisticated scammer. from Ghana. So what happened? He lost his money. So I feel sorry for this buyer waiting for the gold to arrive in Dubai. The gold didn't come because you have to pay the gold. Mr. Buyer, if you were being offered to pay taxes, don't. Don't send any money to any particular in Africa. Do not. Africa is a huge continent. Africa is the main producer of gold, but most of the sellers have no license. If the buyer says, okay, I have the gold, pay taxes, you sell it, that seller has no license. Because if the seller has a license, he would not smuggle the gold. That kind of offer is smuggling. That is the reason why the government in Africa changing the laws, because the foreigners are trying to cut corner on the seller. Trying to cut corner, why? Because of the value added tax. That is normal that you have to pay the product plus value added tax. Now this local miner have no license. Maybe the gold has been stolen. Correct. Nana Minsa, he stole the gold. He tried to sell it. So what happened? The gold didn't come. So any seller offer you cheap price, think about it. The gold has been stolen. Now another seller and buyer selling gold in Tanzania. Tons of gold in Tanzania flooded coming from Congo. And I was being approached to help to find a buyer. I said, no, that's not my job to give you the buyer. That's not my job. I have my own seller. My own seller has a license to export, has a license to mine, and we have concession. So I'm not going to help you to smuggle the gold. Now this gold, tons of gold in Tanzania coming from Congo, stolen gold on the river using Front ACA as a representative. And the representative come to me. I interviewed the representative, where the gold coming from Congo. Why the tons of gold in Tanzania? There's so many buyers in Tanzania. Madam, we want cash. And the buyer has to bring cash. I said, no, that is money laundering, and you're also laundering the gold. So you are dealing with the illegal activities. So the gold in Tanzania coming from Congo has been stolen by the rebel. So whoever buyer was offered very cheap, please think about it. Don't grab it. I'm just telling you so that the future buyer would be aware. Now buy to a licensee. Wilhelmina is a marketing consultant of the seller. The seller has a mining license. The seller has an exporter. He has an exporter, so he's been in gold business for many years. So the real seller would not offer you cheap price. He will give you fair price with discount. Our selling price is LBME. LBME will give you a discount. Now, if you want to buy gold bullion that is already refined, there is no discount. You can buy that to a licensee, the brokering firm. They will sell it to you whatever the price of the world market. Now, the price today, as today is Saturday, is 1861.33 per ounce. 2 weeks ago, the price of gold per ounce is 1950.33 per ounce. Use your calculator, multiply that 32.15. I want you to figure out the price of gold today. So, you've been floating around and running around and chasing the supply, but you wouldn't be able to get the supply at all if you didn't have the cash. And this is for export. We are not selling 1 kilo, 2 kilos. It's not worth it for you to travel. It's not. Our minimum order, at least 10 to 20 kilos to start with. Minimum, because this is export. This is not really small timer. You need to have a capital at least $500,000 to $700,000. If you don't have, then you wouldn't be able to get from us. There's so many offer. They can sell to you 2 kilos, 3 kilos, but you need to travel. Annie, good evening. Um, how is the weather in London? Annie from UK. Annie, I think you missed my explanation. Now, may I repeat, Annie? I have an inquiry here. The buyer wanted brings to brings. Now, we only deal brings, Annie, for your own benefit. We only deal brings when the buyer pay the gold. So the buyer has to send a formal letter. He has to place an order, Annie. Annie is watching me here. She is from United Kingdom. She was born in Cameroon. No, her parents is from Cameroon, but she was born in London. Oh, freezing cold in London. Here, it's really windy here in Brisbane. So, going back to Brinks, the buyer has to place an order first to us because we don't know who is the buyer. And the buyer doesn't know us. So the buyer has to send a formal letter of intent stating how many kilos he needs to start with. Now, if the buyer has a Brinks, the buyer has an account to Brinks, the seller has no account to Brinks. So before we're gonna hand over to Brinks, because my seller has his own shipping agent. So if you don't want to deal with my seller's shipping agent, it's okay. There you can use G4S or Brinks. So you have to do the research on G4S. G4S are everywhere in Africa. Ghana, Conakry, Sierra Leone, Mali, Burkina Faso, Cameroon, Zimbabwe, South Africa, uh, Tanzania, and so forth. So that is not my job. I done my research. I saw G4S are everywhere. Their headquarters is in United Kingdom. So that is not my job. So it's up to you. I just mentioned about G4S. Now going back to Brinks. You as the buyer, you have an account to Brinks. So when you buy the gold from us, Conakry, Mali, or Sierra Leone, we will invite you and we will invite your Brinks agent to come to the office on your behalf if you don't want to travel. But before we allow Brinks to come to the office, we would like the authority from you, Mr. Buyer, that the Brinks will come to the office. But before I'm going to allow you, your representative, because Wilhelmina is the extension office, Wilhelmina will validate your buyer and your representative because there's so many hold-upping in Africa. So the seller are very hesitant to entertain without knowing who is the buyer, without knowing who is coming into the office because there is gold in the office. There's a lot of hold-upping. There's so many criminals. We don't know who is sophisticated criminals. So the Brinks will come to the office after the buyers sign a contract with us. After Wilhelmina validate the buyer, who is the logistic, which is your Brinks or G4S, which country destination, which refinery, and I had to gather your vital information so that we can put that on the contract and we will send the contract to you to review. So you're going to see the informations of the seller. I am not going to send blank SPA because that is solicitation. I have to gather your information and you will receive a letter of acknowledgement based on your order. Michelle, good evening. Thank you for watching on my live video. So, once you as the buyer convince us that you are a real buyer, okay, then we will provide Brinks lot of export documentation after your payment would be cleared in the bank of the seller. Without the payment of that gold, we will not hand over the gold to any shipper. You have to pay the gold first, plus valued added tax. Plus, in London, that is normal, you pay valued added tax. In Australia, that is normal. When we buy any products, we pay value added tax. So why you are evading value added tax? Why? So you are not paying the gold, just like this buyer from Dubai. He was dealing seller in Ghana, Annie. I think you missed my explanation. This Nana Minsa from Ghana, he offered gold to a particular buyer in Dubai. I think he was offering $42,000 per kilo on 4 kilos. During the time, the gold was high, 42,000 times 4. That is $168,000. Okay? I have to explain to you, Annie, because you missed my conversation live. And the buyer from Dubai, he only sent 17,000 plus. In Ghana, the tax is 7.5. That is, hang on, 100, just a moment, 42,000 times 4 kilos times 7.5%. 12,600 on the 4 kilos. So when I was talking to this buyer, because he asked me, Madam, I'm disappointed, I'm stressed. I said, why you're stressed? The gold didn't come. I said, why? And I received the conversation, Madam. What do you think? So when I reviewed the conversation and I told this buyer, your seller is a sophisticated liars. Very professional. Can you imagine? From Ghana to Togo, he stole the gold and he brought to Togo because he has no license. And then he told the buyer that the gold is in Ivory Coast. And then so many stories. My gosh, I said to this buyer, you lose your $17,000. So the brinks again, we only hand over when the buyer pay the products. We don't hand over the gold to brinks unless the buyer pay the products. So then the brinks can pick up the gold where the gold to be kept, something like that. So if you are buying gold to Africa, try to do your research. Wilhelmina is not here to explain to you. I only explain when you buy the products from us. But if you don't buy product from us, I wouldn't be able to help you. But at least you watch the video, you get the point, and you can use that to your own benefit. That gold is not CIF. It's not. Gold is not for credit at all. Gold is not SBLC at all. Gold is not for escrow. Why you gonna escrow the gold? So therefore, you ask the seller to pay all the export expenses, and then you're gonna hold the payment until the gold arrive to your destination. That is wrong business. You need to travel if you really want to establish business relationship to a particular seller. You need to travel and meet face to face. Yes, in order for you to feel comfortable whether you are really going to continue buying gold to a particular seller. Now, it's not worth it for you to buy 1 kilos or 2 kilos as a trial. It's not worth it for you to travel. I'm telling you, it's not worth it. The minimum order at least 10 kilos. Now, in Conakry, the minimum order is 10 kilos. In Mali, I will consider 5 kilos. And Sierra Leone. But you need to have cash. Now, the price of gold today, it differs. Now, as I've said to you, the price 2 weeks ago was 64, then down to 63, then down to 62. Now, at the moment, it's 59,841. Today is Saturday, there is no time, there is no market open. Now, I'm going back to the world market. I'm going to have a look. Just bear with me. Okay, just bear with me. I'm going to the world market to have a look if the stock exchange is open. Now, is still steady. The 1861.33 per ounce in dollar term is 59,842.99. That is gold bullion. Don't be confused. Don't be confused about refined and unrefined. Okay. So, you're buying unrefined in order for you to make into different uses. On 22 carats, our selling price is 54.86. So, it's already discounted. So, how are you going to get the price based on LBMA? Whatever the price of LBMA, which is 59 today, is 59,849.87 less 8%. Okay, just a moment. I'm going to educate you at the same time. So today the price of gold is 59. Don't bank on it because the price it fluctuates. 59,849.87 less 8% minus again 59,849.87. Our selling price less 8% is 55. Now I'm giving you 54,800. So therefore it's a 9%. See? So if you're dealing with us, especially if you talk to Wilhelmina, I will help you to get a very good deal in order for you to get the profit. Now, if you're dealing with so many chain of mandate, you as the buyer, you have obligation to pay your mandate because the contract must be stipulated the price. We don't inflate the price. We don't. Whatever the price, buyers and signing the contract, that is the price. Now, imagine if you go on the world market, gold rate on Bamako, Mali, gold rate on Conakry, Guinea, gold rate on Sierra Leone, exactly the same. Some of the seller, they sell below the belt, but they don't have a license. How you gonna take out of the country? So the seller is going to waive the value added tax. So if you're gonna buy from us, I myself will say to my seller, okay, let's give the buyer consideration. Let us waive the valued added tax. You must remember, the valued added tax in every country is different. In Cameroon, the valued added tax is 17%. Annie is from Cameroon. Her family is from Cameroon, but she was born in United Kingdom. But I know the Cameroon valued added tax is too expensive. Now, in Ghana, the valued added tax, it changes every year. Whoever the politician win, they increase the valued added tax because that is an income of the country. In Conakry, Guinea, exactly the same. The taxes, it's differ from year to year. So you are really lucky to watch this video because I explained to you about the tax bracket. Now, do not bank on it because yearly they change. Now, in Conakry, we have an election at the moment. There is no business in Conakry until October 31st because I have the buyer was supposed to fly and the visa, landing visa was been on hold. The immigration would not issue the landing visa because they don't like foreigner to be in Conakry during political campaign. They don't like it. They don't want foreigners to intrude on their local election. So I was being told that the business will be open on October 31st. So we are now almost end of September anyway, so you can wait. So if you want to go to Mali, there is no conflict. So Mali, you must be careful buying gold in Mali. Now in Mali, there are 4,500 local miners, and it's been controlled by the cooperative. Cooperative is just a cartel. All of the 4,500 local miners. They are all artisans. They bring their gold to the main umbrella. So that cooperative, the big cooperative, they have 26 key members who will make a decision. So they're gonna distribute the supply. Just a moment. Someone, okay. Someone, where's my phone? Okay. Yes, either I'm on live at the moment. Okay. So I'm gonna call him back in just a moment. I mentor this gentleman, but he has an issue with his buyer and his seller. I'm going to call him. I told him, do not keep on calling me because I already mentor you. So it's up to you to learn. Just bear with me. Okay. Oh, I'm not supposed to teach you guys. My live video, if you watch my live video, you will learn out of it. And it's up to you to apply, and it's up to you to do your thing. That if you're just floating around and floating around, thinking that you can get sellers or get the commission, I doubt. Yeah, I doubt. You need, if you're acting on behalf of your buyer, you need to do due diligence. You need to make sure that your buyer would not be duped. Make sure. Yeah, because when you buy product from Wilhelmina, you must remember I do charge my extra service to accompany you so that you will not be duped. It doesn't matter if he is my seller. It doesn't matter. I need to make sure that you're happy with my seller and Wilhelmina services. I do make sure. I'm just scrolling. Just bear with me. Because I have a missed call. I'm gonna call this gentleman here. Oh, there's another earthquake in the Philippines. Yeah. So I'm calling him. Yes, Sider, good evening. You call me and when I pick up. Yeah, I'm live at the moment, Sider. Tell me what can. I'm fine. What can I do for you? I'm live at the moment.
Please let us inform the viewers.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
What is the price of gold today?
Well, a while ago I mentioned it on my live that the price of gold today is 1861.33 per ounce. Use your calculator.
Oh.
Multiply that 32.15.
Okay.
Use your calculator.
1861.33.
1861.33.15. That's right.
59,831.
Correct. Now you learn from this woman. Ooh, you learn from it. So, okay, what is the agenda to be discussed while I'm live?
It is.
What is the agenda?
Okay, what is the agenda today?
Well, I just explain about the
agenda.
I explain about Brinks and G4S and gold bullion because I receive a cut and paste an inquiry, the buyer from Dubai. They are looking for 400 metric tons, and I told them that's impossible. You can buy that gold bullion in Dubai Central Bank. You only buy a serial number. So that was my explanation to that joker buyer, joker broker. I called him joker. So that letter of intent was cut and paste. Sorry?
Africa does not have 400 metric tons.
Correct. They can buy that to the Central Bank of London or Central Bank of Hong Kong or Central Bank of China. Even China will not entertain anybody. Chinese are everywhere in Africa buying gold, and they're gonna bring it to China and refine it to make into gold bullion. We have only gold Doribar, which is unrefined. Now the price of 1861.23 is refined gold. That is 59,841, and our selling price less LBMA. Whatever the price of the world market, then we give the buyer less discount in order for the buyer to get the profit. Yes. You got my point? So how is Dubai right now? Is it still locked down or what?
Dubai is good.
Okay. Yeah, how about the coronavirus?
Cases is increasing.
Wow, how many coronavirus in Dubai?
Increasing.
It's not very good. Here in Brisbane,
1,000 new cases.
ooh, in Brisbane, our premier is happy. They opened the border, so interstate can travel to Queensland, and the coronavirus has decreased. So hopefully soon the international flight would be resumed soon. So I'm just waiting. I always keep watching.
But madam, I tell you,
Yeah.
flight delayed, but Brinks is still working.
Oh, air cargo is working. Yeah. Air cargo is working, but the commercial
Brinks
flight.
is working.
Correct.
To you, to my perspective on Brinks.
Correct.
But for the successful transaction to Brinks, the seller and buyer both must have their own Brinks account.
Correct.
Then the seller will deposit the gold into his own account. Then the buyer will deposit the cash into his own account. Brinks will confirm both. Brinks will be in charge of the logistic, and then the gold will be assayed under Brinks supervision, and the gold will only be released from the seller to the buyer after the payment has been made.
Okay. May I give you the answer to that information?
It is a hybrid FOB deal. It is a FOB hybrid deal.
Okay.
FOB.
Now, I called the Brinks in Conakry, that subsidiary. I was let me finish.
Madam, no.
Hang on. Hang on. Just let me finish. Let me finish.
Global.
No, let me finish.
Brinks International.
No, let me finish.
Yes, that is a different.
No, let me finish, I said. Hi there. Don't be stubborn. Let me finish. I listened to you so that I could share it to the public. Okay, listen very carefully.
It's different.
Okay, just a minute, I said. I called Brinks is subsidiary. Okay? They only pick up. Let me finish, I said. You're very rude. I don't like bloody rude people. Let me finish. And I called David. Okay? David says to me, Brinks in Conakry is subsidiary only. The buyer has an account to them in order to keep the gold to their vault. Now the seller, my seller in Conakry, has his own shipper. He would not open the Brinks account because we have an in-house shipping. So my seller has been shipping the gold to Dubai for many years. There's no issue. Let me finish first, eh? And he is using Emirates Air Cargo. Now, what my head office was saying to me, that if the buyer has an account to Brinks, he has to pay the gold. Okay? The gold stays at the central bank in Conakry. The gold will not leave the central bank, but the buyer has to come to the office He has to authorize his Brink representative to inspect the gold and then ask the gold to the central bank. Once the payment would be fully paid, then the Brinks can pick it up at the central bank. That was my seller's information instructed me. We don't deal Brinks because my seller is not interested to open an account because my seller in Conakry, he has his own in-house shipping agency. All right. So he is conjunct with Air Cargo Emirates. So if the buyer buy, let's say the buyer buy in Mali. I don't know if there is Brinks in Mali. There is a G4S everywhere. I don't know if there is a Brinks in Sierra Leone. So the buyer is responsible for doing some research and we will hand over the gold.
But if a Brinks subsidiary.
You're not paying attention to me, Heider, right? Don't be stubborn person. I explained to you, listen first before you tap, before you're gonna have a conversation on my top. That is very rude. So I'm explaining about the Sierra Leone. If the buyer has let me finish, I said, you are really, I'm going to cut you off. I'm going to punish you. You are not listening. That is why you make a lot of mistake. So, in Sierra Leone, they can organize Brinks. They have to pay the gold first before the gold to be handed over. Now it's your turn to talk. Go ahead. It's your turn.
You are right. This is if the Brinks seller doesn't have a Brinks account, then this is precisely the procedure.
Correct.
You have to pay the gold, then Brinks will come and do only the logistics.
Correct. So what is the problem? You did not understand my simple English. I explained it and you didn't listen to my explanation.
Mine, that I...
Yeah? Go ahead.
Did you understand mine?
I do understand bloody American English. Maybe your English is Chinese English, that's why.
The procedure...
The procedure is very clear. I will not repeat it. I don't want to repeat.
Yes.
Don't be a fool. The procedure is already online, so I don't want to keep on repeating and repeating. You keep on laughing. You never learn from me. That's why you made a mistake all the time. So that is the reason why I'm explaining so that when the buyer come to us, the buyer will not be deceived and will not lose his money. Because I don't want the buyer to lose his money. That is why I'm charging my extra service. I have to fly with the buyer. You got me? You got me? If the buyer cannot afford to me, he's not a buyer. He's just a plain sophisticated broker. So, you're happy with my explanation? All right. So anyway, thank you for your call. And I just call you back because when you call me, I was live. Even now, I'm live talking to you. Yeah. And everybody's listening to our conversation here. All right. So, is that all you ask? What is the agenda to be discussed? Tell me.
Well, the agenda is that Brinks is good, but Brinks has different subsidiary.
Correct. You're right. You are 100%.
They have multiple different procedures depending on your requirement.
Correct. Yeah, correct. Because I called Conakry subsidiary. Exactly the same. You have to open an account, but my seller would not open an account.
But madam,
yeah. Sorry?
Yes, but when Dubai buyer approach an inquiry for Brinks deal, they are referring to the option where the Brinks seller and Brinks buyer will make a FOB trade in Dubai. So for a Dubai Brinks deal, when they give you an offer, they are presuming that the seller has a Brink account.
The buyer should not assume it. Because the seller, he has his own terms. He sells his gold to anywhere, right? So the buyer must not assume, okay? That is silly if the buyer assume that he's dealing with artisan or the local miners, that the miner has his own in-house shipping. He has his own. So the buyer has to make sure that he knows what he's buying. I can understand, let me finish. I can understand that the buyer is trying to protect his money, and the seller as well, he is trying to protect his gold, vice versa. Now it's your turn to talk. So you got my explanation?
Yes.
Okay. So I think it's very clear.
Yes.
I think
that
that
is what Brinks.
I think my explanation is very clear. So, but anyway, I have to leave you because someone is buzzing me. Okay? Thank you very much for our conversation live. All right?
Okay. Okay, sure.
All right. Thank you, Hatsider Kadim. Next time when you're having a live conversation with me, don't be stubborn. Okay? Thank you very much. Have a pleasant good evening and bye for now. All right. I think you hear my conversation with this gentleman from Dubai. No matter how I mentor him, he's still not getting the point. To me, my seller never explained to me like this, none whatsoever. My seller is not interested with your terms, guys. My seller say, here's the gold, you have the money, you pay for it. If you want to use Brinks, it's up to you. If you want to use G4S, it's up to you. As long as you pay the gold. Simple as that. We don't need to talk too much. No, those are joker buyer, too much stories. This is money you're buying. You pay for it. It's up to you to organize shipping. Yeah. And my seller has a shipping agent. So if you don't trust the shipping of my seller, that is fine. You organize your own shipping. Use G4S. Use Brinks. As long as you pay the products. Yeah. Bank to the seller's bank account. Then the sellers hand over the gold to Brinks. Simple. You don't need to make stories to Wilhelmina because my seller never teach me. Never. I went there, I sit down, and I have to do the research either in order for me to share with you. That is why the seller hired Wilhelmina. You know, I asked my seller, why you want Wilhelmina services? Why? I'm not interested, you guys. During the time, 2011. And my seller said, Wilhelmina, we hired you because you are the person that we need your services in order to tell the world that this is how the proper way. And I told my seller, why did you not tell to all your brokers before? Oh, the brokers doesn't help us, Wilhelmina. The only thing come out is their commission. The commission cannot be given to them, cannot be paid unless the buyer and the seller consummate the contract. If you are just brokering online, cutting cut and paste, I can guarantee you, you're gonna fail. I can guarantee you, you will never close the deal. Floating around and cutting and dealing with chain of broker. We are now on the social media. That is why we advertise that we have the supply. Most of you doesn't understand at all. Internet is the superhighway. Many years ago, we send faxes to communicate. Today we don't send faxes, we send email and YouTube and Facebook. You search on YouTube, my video pop up into your screen. So this live video as well would be linked to my YouTube channel. Most of the buyer goes to YouTube channel and search for gold and diamond. I don't chase you guys. I am here to tell the world. I am here to explain. So if you watch this video and you learn out of it, you apply it to yourself. And I'm not here to babysit you, because my seller didn't even babysit. I babysit the seller and the buyer. I'm the one who explained the buyer, this is what you have to do, etc., etc. That is why I put the procedure on this video. Every video that I appear live, the procedure is on every video. You click it, you will see Wilhelmina was in Africa. You will see the comparison, the refined and also unrefined. So you as the broker or the buyers, small buyer, take time to read. Analyze, what is this refined for? Is Wilhelmina seller selling refined? No, we are not selling refined. We're not. I'm just putting the refined versus unrefined. Now the refined gold coming from Mali, the refined gold coming from Conakry and Sierra Leone, they buy unrefined and then they bring it to their destination to refine it. So you are buying physical gold bar doré. You are not buying gold volume here. You are not buying refined here. So please take time to read, analyze the picture that I compared and I showed you, that the Mali gold has been refined to a particular refinery. There's a refinery in Bamako, Mali, Marina Refinery, owned by local and partnership with Chinese. KMR, owned by Italian group of company. They are there in Bamako, Mali. The refinery is a huge refinery, 500 meters away from international airport. That is business. And the miners, the local miners, they are using DNGM refinery. Before Marina and KMR arrived in Mali, DNGM was already exist because run by the government. So that is business. The government welcome new investors. In Conakry, most of the gold is at the central bank. Most of the gold. 99.99 gold has to go to the central bank. Now in Sierra Leone, 100% goes to GGO. It is a government laboratory. They call that a small refinery. They will assay the gold. They will give you the assay report, the gold carats, and the purity. So don't be confused. So Wilhelmina is giving you a lot of information. You are a winner. You won a lotto, gold lotto, if this is the case. So we are not dealing with a time waster. We are not dealing with too much stories. You read it, you like it, you place your order. This is my online store. That is why you meet Wilhelmina. So I hope you guys understand what you are looking for. I am not chasing you here. I am telling the world that we have the supply. It's up to you to chase us. As long as you have the money, you can get the gold from us. If you don't have the money, I wouldn't be able to help you, because this is FOB. Gold is not for credit, as I've said to you many times. This is FOB. We don't ask you upfront here. You place your order. I will summarize because I'm going to exit in a minute. Okay? I will summarize. You are buying unrefined. You are not buying refined here. So look at on the link. There's Bamako, Mali, Conakry, and Sierra Leone. You saw Wilhelmina. Wilhelmina was in Africa recently before lockdown. So that is showing that my seller is real. We are not selling cheap price here. So whatever the price, we give you discount. Now take advantage while the gold is down. 2 weeks ago, the gold was 64. Now, today is Saturday. On Monday, we don't know the price. So we are now ending 2020. So take advantage to secure the gold while the price of gold is down. Last year, 2019, I warned everyone that 2020, the gold will skyrocket. Nobody believes Wilhelmina. Nobody. They said, oh, Wilhelmina is scam. Well, you are one of the scammer because you're asking to pay taxes. Only scammer doing that. The real buyer, he would do the proper due diligence. Now, Mr. Buyer, if you're watching me, book your trip or place your order. I know we are on coronavirus, and I wouldn't be able to travel with you, but I will monitor your movement. If you want to travel to Mali, I will monitor your movement, but I have to gather your vital information. Don't be scared with your information. Stays with Wilhelmina because Wilhelmina is the extension digital office. I'm the one who will help you. I'm the one. I will not rush you guys. I will gather all your vital information before you will be invited. And you need to bring your gold tester. Please spend money to make money. Okay? Because gold is a very mysterious products. You buy your own gold tester. You can buy that online. There is 5,000, there is 10,000, there is 22. The expensive one is $22,000. Do the research online because I done my inquiry already. So I know the price of gold tester. So if you are really a buyer, spend money. But if you are not a buyer, just only, oh, I'll pay taxes, please don't bother. I can guarantee you the gold will not come to you. Do not do your terms because you will fail. The seller would not agree on your terms because you are buying money. Now, there was a situation that the buyer paid taxes. What happened? The gold didn't come. You buy gold in Mali, you pay taxes, the gold didn't come. You buy gold in Ghana, you pay taxes, the gold didn't come. You buy gold in Conakry, you pay taxes, the gold didn't come. And also in Sierra Leone, everywhere, any seller offer you cheap price and say, okay, here's my gold, you pay taxes. Think about it. Why you gonna pay taxes that you have not seen the gold? Why? Think about it. There is a mysterious hidden agenda on that. Either the gold is stolen or the seller has no license to sell it to you. Yeah? Or the seller has no license to export to you. Maybe the gold has been stolen. Just like few minutes ago. My explanation about gold in Ghana under Nana Minsa was stolen. He tried to sell gold to Dubai. What happened? The buyer lost money. The gold didn't come because the gold has been stolen. You need to be careful dealing with the person who offer you cheap price. Think about it. Why he offer you cheap price? Maybe the gold has been stolen or the gold is coming from the rebel. Yes? There's so many instances I can detect right under. Just few hours ago, I was being approached that they have 5,000 kilos in Tanzania. And I told this front act, why you have 5,000 kilos in Tanzania? Where the gold coming from? Congo. I told this front act, oh, the gold in Congo has been stolen. So, madam, this is from the rebel. See, I can sense it right on there. And the rebel want the money. The buyer bring the money cash. They don't want to do bank to bank. And I told this front act, very dangerous. That is laundering. And the buyer would be in trouble. Either the buyer would be kidnapped because the gold belonged to the rebels. And the rebels are very smart. They will trap you. Do not go to any mines. You come to the office. Okay? When you build your rapport with the seller, that is the time you go to the mines. But on the beginning, do not go to the mines. If any seller say, okay, come to the mines, don't. The mines is too far. Me, as the seller's mandate, I went to the mines, but I have my two guys with me. Mhm. I am very courageous. I went to the mines because I want to see it because the seller hired me. But if you're a buyer, you're a foreigner, I am a foreigner. You might be kidnapped. So don't go to the mines. Come to the office, stay in the city. Where is the gold to be kept and ready to assay? You only stay in Africa 9 working days maximum. So if the seller say, "Oh, come to the mines," don't go to the mines for the first time. I'm telling you, I'm giving you a warning. There are so many incidents that the foreigner has been kidnapped. Do not go to the mines. Come to the city in the office. Mhm. I will guide you when you buy the gold from us. I will guide you. And I will not allow you to go to the mines. You go to the mines, you want to buy cheap price? Okay, you go to the mines, you will be chop chop. Mhm. There was an Indian 7 years ago, went to the mines from Ghana. He went to Ghana because Ghana is really very popular during the time. This Indian, he wanted to buy cheap rice. He went to the mines. He was being holed up and he was being chopped chop. So don't go to the mines so that you will not be chopped chop. And also the seller, do not bring the gold to the country that you don't know the country, right? You're gonna be duped as well. So both buyers and seller are trying to cut corner. So what happened at the end of the day? You fail. There's so many instances that the seller was being murdered. There was a murdered few months ago in Bangladesh. The African went to Bangladesh and bring gold. He was being murdered. Then another Togo seller, 2009, went to China after the gold. He was being murdered. And then the other seller from Conakry, Guinea, 3 years ago, went to Dubai. He was being poisoned. And then another Sierra Leone went to United States. He brought diamond worth $1 million, the gun on his head. So there is an instance. So you as the buyers and the seller, if you're not very careful seller, you're gonna lose your item. And also you as the buyer, if you're not careful, you're gonna be chop chop as well. So there are so many tricky business on this gold. If you are really professional buyer, do your job, do your homework. This video is for everyone. You will get a lesson out of this lady. Believe me. Mhm. I was in Africa. My transactions has been successful. I don't have any issue. But please don't cut corner. A minute you cut corner, then expect disaster. Don't blame Wilhelmina if you cut corner. That is not my responsibility. It is your job. That is why in the beginning I have to gather your information so that at the end of the day when there is an issue, I have the file and all our conversation would be recorded when gonna have a live video call for my file. In case there is a discrepancy, when we go to the court, I will replay the video conversation that this is what we have conversation. It is not the fault of Wilhelmina. It is your fault and the seller. So that is why I have to be with you in order to tell my seller, then do not muck around with the buyer. Because if the seller mucking around, I will publish the seller, then the seller will lose his business. I always warn my seller, when I bring the buyer, make sure the buyer is happy. So both parties is happy. That is how it works. Because I am going to arrive before you arrive, Mr. Buyer. I will meet you in the airport. I would welcome you together with the company driver. Mhm. So I think I already explained to you very thoroughly. So don't be scared. Deal with us in a proper way. Then I can guarantee you will get the gold. We have tons of gold, but we cannot sell you tons of gold unless we know you. Start a trial. On this video, the full corporate offer, it says start a trial. Then you increase your order when you're satisfied with us. Thank you very much. Have a pleasant good evening.